Hey everyone, as you can see I'm in my kitchen and I've actually got two laptops sitting here. I've got my HP, which is certainly the most powerful, it's got a 4K screen, etc. And next to it I've got the little baby, I've got the Surface Pro 6. So I've just finished a video about an upcoming arcade system and I have recorded it and edited it on the Surface Pro 6, and soon I will encode the video as well so that I can upload it to YouTube. And it's quite amazing that I did it all through the Surface Pro 6. Now, I would like to do a full video about video editing on the Surface Pro 6 and talk more about how I edit videos using Premiere Pro and how I handle it using a laptop that only has an i5 processor with 8GB of RAM. You know, ideally you want 16GB or 32GB of RAM and you want an i7 processor, but this actually handles it okay. But I will do a separate video for that. What I want to do in this video is talk more about actually recording with the Surface Pro 6. And by that I mean recording using, well, two programs that I'm going to be talking about is OBS, which is one of the most popular ways to record videos for YouTube and to stream live. And when I'm talking about OBS, obviously like Streamlabs and things like that. And I'll also be talking about Screencast-O-Matic, which seems to use a little bit less power. Now, it seems a little bit crazy to even talk about this. Why the hell would you use a device like this? This wasn't designed, this wasn't created to record videos. This wasn't designed to do screencasts. You know, by screencast I mean showing the browser, showing the screen, and then showing the webcam at the front. But it's actually a better solution in many ways than this one. Now, this has got a Quadro graphics card, like a 4GB Quadro graphics card. It's a workstation. It's got 16GB of RAM. I'm going to be putting 32GB of RAM in it. It's got a faster SSD than the Surface Pro. And yeah, it's got a 4K screen. This is certainly, on paper, a better solution for screen recording. But it's not. And one of the reasons for that, one of the reasons why I don't really do many screen recordings and recordings through this laptop is because of the noise. The noise on this laptop is very annoying. And it's not just when I'm doing something really powerful. The noise and the fans with this, they kick in very, very quickly, even when you're not really doing a lot. As soon as I start OBS, as soon as I start it, the fans come on and it's very noisy. And even using a lavalier mic is very hard to get rid of that noise, which means that the recording becomes unusable. Now, I'm in the kitchen, so it's a little bit echoey. You will hear my freezer and fridge making some noises from time to time, certainly because I need to defrost my freezer. But the fan noise on this laptop means that, yes, it's a fantastic laptop for video editing, and it will always beat that for video editing. But from a recording point of view, it's a different story because the fans on this are so loud. Now, in the i7 version of the Surface Pro 6, the fans are apparently not too bad. Apparently they're pretty good and they don't go too loud. Now, I had the Surface Pro 4, that was an i7, and it was the 16GB model, and the fans did come on and it was quite loud, so kind of some problem to that. Now, as I said, I believe they have addressed that issue, but I don't have the i7, so I can't show you that. I have the i5, and the great thing about the i5 is that it's fanless. This thing is silent. Whether you're running this at 1%, 10%, 50%, or 100%, the noise on this is minimal. In fact, it's non-existent. It's not doing a thing. And it's pretty amazing that, you know, when you're dealing with a graphics card and a PC that always, you know, kicks in and the fans start spinning, when you're dealing with a powerful laptop, you get all that power, but all that power generates heat. All that heat has to be cooled. You need to dissipate that heat, and that's where noise comes in. Now, when you're encoding a video or video editing, that really isn't an issue. But when you're recording a video, that fan noise means that you can't record. It becomes such a big issue that you can't even use the clip. That means that I can't, for example, attach like the Blue Yeti, which is a condenser mic, and it will pick up the microphone, the fan noise a lot. But even when I use a good condenser mic, a good dynamic mic, sorry, even when I use my Shure SM7B or I use a lavalier mic, it still picks up the noise from the fans. They are that loud, and that is a common problem. If you look at any laptop review of a workstation, of a gaming laptop, there's always an area in the review where they talk about fan noise. You know, if you look at a website like Notebook Check and things like that. So that is an issue. This is fanless, which means that it's not an issue for me. It is not an issue. I forgot. Switch on. Windows Hello. There we go. Windows Hello is great, is it? So yeah, that is actually one of the reasons why this, on paper, doesn't look like a good solution for recording. But because of the lack of fan noise, it means that if I'm doing a screencast, if I want to show you guys something, this is a good option. And there's a few other reasons why this is a good option as well. Now, in the video that I recorded there, I used a lavalier mic. I was actually using my Zoom audio interface, but the audio on this from the default microphone is actually pretty good. Probably not the best in the kitchen, which is why I opted for the audio interface. But if you're in a quiet environment, the microphone on this is really, really good. And because it's fanless, you're not going to pick up any other noise. So the microphone is good on this, but the cameras are excellent. The camera is absolutely unbelievable on this. The camera on that webcam is really bad. So what I would do is hook up my Logitech Brio, which is a 4K webcam, and I would hook it up to that. So I would have to use a separate webcam for that laptop. I don't need to do it for this one. This one's got 8 megapixels at the back, but it's got 5 megapixels at the front, and that front camera looks fantastic. It really does look amazing, and I can't recall any webcam or even any tablet that I've used that has a webcam as good as that. So it doesn't have any noise. It doesn't, so you're not going to pick up any fan noise, but it also has the great microphone and the great webcam. So, you know, the fact that I'm talking about recording with OBS and doing screen recordings, it might surprise a few people because, you know, this doesn't look like the device that you would use for that. But in some ways, it is actually the perfect device because of that lack of noise and because of the high quality webcam and the high quality microphone. But it isn't perfect. When I was recording the video earlier on, I was at 99%. And that's because this doesn't have a graphics card. It needs to do it all through the CPU and the integrated graphics. So that is a concern. Now, in hindsight, I didn't have my settings optimized great for OBS. I changed the settings from 30, like the scaling from 32 to 16. It drops it from 99% to 84%. I dropped the frame rate from 60 to 30, and it drops it down like another 20%. The reason I'm talking about this, and I will show you this in a second, what I'm talking about, but the reason I'm talking about this is because you have to work with what you've got here. You only have the CPU. You don't have the external graphics card or the built-in graphics card. You just have the integrated graphics. So what you need to do is kind of downscale what quality that you're using, etc. Don't put everything at max settings. Bring it down a little bit. I normally do my screen recordings at 60 frames per second. If I drop it down to 30 frames per second, I've got a lot more room with the CPU. It gives me a little bit of a breathing space because you don't want to be at 99%. That's when things happen in video. The audio goes wonky, the video goes wonky, or the video could stop. You don't want that. But if you bring the settings down, then this makes the Surface Pro 6 not only a good video for doing screencasts, but also potentially doing live streams. This will allow me to do live streams. And again, no fan noise, great webcam, great microphone. So what I'd like to do at this point is just kind of quickly show you what I was working on before, and then show you the CPU usage, and then maybe give you a better idea as to what I'm talking about here, what the hell I'm talking about here. Again, I've got the Surface Pro 6, I've got the 256GB model, and I've also got the i5 with 8GB of RAM. Now, of course, other things come into play here. You want to have a healthy amount of storage in your laptop. You don't want to have, like, say, 30GB left in your C drive. You want to have space there because video, puts a lot of files. It uses a lot of the storage there. So you want to have things like that there. But i5, 8GB. Let's see how this actually performs. Okay, so I'll bring you over. And this is my setup, and you can see me reflecting on the laptop there. And this is my main laptop that I've got. I might be changing this later. This is my audio interface with a lavalier mic attached, and this is the Surface Pro 6. And into the single USB port is this audio interface. So you have a better idea as to how I was set up here. And this is the video that I was editing, and I'll just mute this just now. In fact, no, I won't. I won't mute this. I don't need to, because here's a thing that, again, this sounds like a little thing, but it's not. See, when you're video editing with the Surface Pro, play certainly not compared to what it used to be like. So believe that guy, he knows what he's talking about. But yeah, see, when you're editing with this, normally when I'm editing in Premiere Pro, I use headphones. But what I found with this is, because the speakers on the Surface Pro 6 are so good, I've just been editing and using the speakers built in. And they're good enough that you can hear if there's any problems, any background noise that you need to remove. I haven't found any problem with that. So yeah, again, a nice little bonus. So you can see here, I'll mute this for a second just so it doesn't distract us. Yeah, video editing is okay. Again, I will do a dedicated video about video editing. You don't want to be doing complex videos on this. A single clip with a few effects should be okay. Performance-wise, it's going to be a little bit sluggish compared to a more powerful laptop or to a main PC, but this is certainly usable. It certainly is usable, and I have no qualms about using this to edit videos. It's very easy, and it's not like I'm spending a lot more time waiting on things to load. It does work quite well, and you can, if I get I can't do that because I've only got one hand, but I was trying to show you full screen. But yeah, it does work quite well. So I will do a follow-up video about that, but what I want to do in this video, so that's the video I need to encode, but what I want to do is bring up Screencast-O-Matic. So I want to show you this one first. I use this sometimes. I mainly use OBS, but I want to show you this one. This is a handy one to have, even if you've got OBS, right? The reason being that this uses a little bit less resources. Now, I've got the option with this as well. I can record. I don't know if you can see this here. I'll bring my camera closer. Okay, so the tripod has been removed. So you should be able to see this better now. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this. It's a little bit reflective, but I've got the option there for 480p, 720p, 1080p, 1440p, and active window, so I could, record the whole screen. Now, I can record the screen, the webcam, or both. And this is quite cool how it works as well, because what it allows you to do is you record, and then afterwards you can adjust the size of the webcam. So I can actually show you that now, but what I want to quickly do is show you, if you can get it. So this is the task manager, right? And that webcam is coming from the screen recorder. But you should be able to see there that I've got like 13% CPU, the GPU is at 2%, the memory is at 5.6. Now, I do have some things open, but these are the things I generally have open if I was doing a screen recording. Like, these are the pages that I was looking at the video. In that video, I've got Premiere Pro open. But what I would say that if you are like me, you've got 8 gigabytes of RAM, I would close anything down that isn't essential. So, for example, I normally have Chrome open. I normally leave Premiere Pro open, but you're probably better removing those. Now, what I'm going to do, I'll just quickly show you this. So I'll bring up this window first. So check this, right? We've got 3%, 12% CPU. I'm down to 4.4 of the 8 gigabytes. And what I'm going to do is record. And as I said, I could record this at 1440p or the full window, but I'm going to do it at 1080p just because that's what I was recording earlier on OBS. So it'll be a little bit consistent. So you can see there, it's now shot up 18, 19%. Super low. This isn't really using many resources. It really isn't. Which means that if I wanted to, I could, for example, play this video in the background. If I can do this now. So I'm playing a video now in the background. And what's that doing? Well, it puts it up to 77%. So you can see that there's certain things you'll have to avoid. Now, I still could record that, and it still is recording that. But it does show you that when you're doing anything more intensive like a video and things like that, the GPU integrated graphics will shoot up. So you have to be conscious of that because, again, you get to 99%, you get to 100%, that's when things start going wrong. Now, if I just want to show you this, I'll go to done. Now, Screencast-O-Matic is quite good how it works, because you can edit it, and then once you've edited a clip, you can then say, right, I want, if I can get this behind the camera, where is it? Yeah, so I can then resize the webcam, so it kind of records it differently, and then you can change it and you can make it bigger and smaller and edit it. But as an editor, it's kind of limited in some ways. So anyway, that is Screencast-O-Matic, and as you saw there, it doesn't really use up too much of the CPU. So for me, it's quite a practical way to record, but it does record at 25 frames per second generally. So yeah, that's one reason why it doesn't use up a lot of CPU. It doesn't use a lot of CPU because the frame rate isn't too high. Now, that is something to be concerned about. That is something you have to pay attention to, i.e. the frame rate, because the frame rate will influence, I'll bring this down, the frame rate will influence what your CPU kind of usage is. Now, OBS, in comparison to many other applications, is quite good, as far as it doesn't use up too much CPU. What I want to do, I'll bring this up just now, try and capture it all on the camera. So, OBS, I'm not doing anything, it's at 33%. Now, if I start recording, it goes up, and it's about 56. It's about 65, 70, yeah, it's going up again, 81. Now, that is a lot higher than what Screencast-O-Matic was. But it all relates to your settings. So what I'm going to do is show you the settings that I've got. Go into settings, go to output, and I've got 10,000 for the video bitrate. So I can drop this bitrate and it should hopefully reduce the CPU time. But what I'm going to do actually is go to video, and you can see that I've got 60 here. Now, if I drop this down to 30, it will change it. It will change it a lot. So let's do that. And what are we getting now? So before we were getting 50, 65, 70, and now it is a lot lower. Maybe hovering about 44, 45, maybe 50 it will be. And again, if I had to play a video or do anything else like that, the GPU usage would go right up. So 45%, so that's 30 frames per second. Now, before with Screencast-O-Matic, it was 25, so I'm going to put 25, and this will maybe give us a fairer comparison. Start recording, and what are we going to go up to? Let's drop it down again. Now, this does illustrate the difference it can make, with recording at 25 or 30 or 60 frames per second. Now, the mistake that I made earlier, and the one I kind of touched upon earlier, was that in the settings area, I had video set at 60, which is what I normally record at, which is what I'm recording at right now. And I had this part, the downscale filter, I had that set at 32 because I was messing around with all the settings and I just kind of left it on at that. So, I've got it now. OBS is just on and we're still sitting about 32%. I'm going to start recording. And this is going to go higher. Yeah, it's going much higher. Now, earlier on, it was even higher than that. It was like 90-odd%. I've maybe dropped it a little bit by closing down a few applications. But it just, again, it illustrates that if you change a few settings, if you change things around, it will change how much CPU is being used. But what I have hopefully illustrated here is that if you're using Screencast-O-Matic, it records at 25 frames per second. The quality is good. It gives you a lot of good options, but the CPU usage is quite low. So it gives you a little bit of a breathing space if you're recording. OBS can work well. If you set the settings too high, you're going to run into problems. But if you keep it low enough, then you probably can not only record, but can also do a live stream. But again, think about what you're doing. Close down any unnecessary programs. watch your effects and just watch your CPU usage. Open up your task manager, and if there's anything spiking it up, whenever you keep this open, this is what I do. I keep this open. If anything spikes up, close it down and remember what spiked that. Like, as I was saying, I've got OBS just now, recording, and in fact, what I'll do is I'll put it up to the higher setting. Video, I'm going to put up to 32. I'm going to start recording, and you can see here it's going to shoot up. But what I'm going to do is play this video, and yeah, look at that. And I stupidly played that video for a second or two when I did that review earlier, and I did the video earlier, which is why I was getting 99%. So be careful of things like that. It will spike it up. But even without it, where are you? Sorry, I'm doing all this behind the camera. Even without it, you can see at the highest setting, I'm getting like 77, 76%. But I must admit, an i5 processor, 8250U, is quad-core, which is obviously a big reason why this handles it so well. But across the board, I would say that this works really well. And you can see the camera there, the front camera. And the good thing about this as well is that OBS lets you change it to the back camera at any point. You just change it around and it will show the back camera. So you can select any one of the cameras, the back camera or the front camera. And if I open this, and maybe this will show you guys, like at this. Oops, I've grabbed the wrong one. In fact, what I'll do is I'll open up a new scene, scene 2. What I'm going to do is add video capture device, and look at that. That is the front camera. That's how easy it is. It's going to pick up a lot of blemishes, a lot of wrinkles that other webcams don't pick up. Time to encode the video I recorded earlier. And there is no noise whatsoever. So my video is encoding in the background and it's silent. You've got to love this. You've got to love this laptop. It's more powerful than people give it credit for. It really is a fantastic little laptop. You do pay a premium for it, but it does have many premium features, such as that webcam, such as no fans, and such as a good microphone. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this look at OBS and Screencast-O-Matic, and hopefully you've got a better understanding as to what this can do now from a recording point of view. It's perhaps not the ultimate solution. You do have to play with the limitations. You need to kind of work around what the laptop can actually do. You don't have a separate graphics card, and my version doesn't have an i7 and it doesn't have 16 gigabytes of RAM. I only have 8 gigabytes of RAM. But if you work around it, it's okay. You just have to close down any unnecessary applications. If there's something that you aren't using for the recording, try and close it down. It'll give you a little bit extra RAM and it will hopefully reduce your CPU as well. As you saw there though, depending on how I set this up, the CPU usage and the integrated graphics can be low or it can be very, very high. And if you remember anything from this video, is just to do lots and lots of testing. It's very easy to jump to conclusions when you're doing something like this and then do a recording and go, the Surface Pro sucks, that was at 99%. If something is that high for whatever reason, then you maybe have to drop your resolution, you might have to drop the frame rate. I was recording at 10,000 for the bit rate, you might have to drop that back. And you just have to mess around with it until you get something where the quality is good, but you're not pushing this to the limits. And to the limits, I mean, anyone who records video knows this, that when the CPU usage gets really, really high, when the integrated graphics is too high, you sometimes run into problems with audio and with video because it can't do what it needs to do from a recording point of view. But across the board, I'm pretty happy with this. It's not perfect, nothing is. From a performance point of view, it's never going to match a more powerful laptop that has a dedicated graphics card. But for quick screen recordings, this is actually perfect for me with the fantastic built-in webcam. I don't need to hook up an external webcam. I have chosen to include, to use a separate microphone. I have decided to do that. But if I was away in a hotel room and I didn't have a lavalier mic, if I didn't have a shotgun mic, or I didn't have anything else to record audio, then I would be more than happy with the audio that's built into the laptop itself, the one that's recorded from the laptop. But across the board, I'm very, very happy with it. I think it's a very powerful little laptop, and I think that if you're buying this and you're a YouTuber or you're someone who does game streaming or recordings or anything like that, I think you're going to be happy with what this can do. Just don't push everything to the max settings. Keep testing everything, open up the task manager, and if you see the GPU usage going up to 100%, if you see the CPU going a little bit too high, which granted it didn't go too high, the CPU was actually quite low there, it was like 29% or so. But if you do see anything spiking up, just pull your settings back a little bit and it shouldn't cause any problems with your recording. Thanks for watching, guys. I will do a follow-up in the future where I talk more about video editing and talk about, you know, some problems that you might run into when you're editing a video. But I hope I've got a better understanding now of what you can do with the Surface Pro 6 from a recording point of view. Thanks for watching, guys. I know many of you are probably aware of OBS, but check out Screencast-O-Matic as well. In many situations, I jump from OBS, which is I guess you call it my favourite, the one I use all the time. But I frequently jump to Screencast-O-Matic to do certain things. And it's got a lot of cool features there as well, like with the cursor and the way that you can modify the webcam afterwards. So check that out as well if you are looking to do screencasts. It is a good solution. You can use it free, but it's like $15 a year if you do opt to buy it. It's very cheap. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will speak to you all very soon. Take care.